Hi guys, Christina here. Do you guys want growth and creative control in building your mental wellness brand? Keep watching. So I want to first ask you, are you feeling burnt out? Do you feel that you're trying to do everything in your brand and feel like you're getting nowhere and you actually feel more exhausted than you are fulfilled? Well, it could be that you're saving money, of course, but also I think it's also something about letting go a little bit and not having to be a full control freak. I know I am too. I love to just have full control of things, but I also need to understand that I need to partition things too, for the best of my mental health and for the best of the brand. And the same goes for you, right? You want to have full control. That's great. That's very, very powerful. But you need to come to conclusions that you, as a mental health professional, need the energy to be able to heal other people and help others and be empathetic. And if you're feeling lowest of the lows in your emotions or in your energy, it's going to be very hard to fully be attentive to that person. If you're trying to do all the things on this side, but you're forgetting that your full purpose, right? Helping people with their mental health. All this other great stuff, branding, marketing, advertising, sales, anything like that, you need to pass that on to somebody else that has the professional skill sets to do that. So if you want to continue to grow, because I'm sure that's what you're looking for, you're looking to keep growing your brand, then I would suggest hiring a brand designer, because then you're able to focus your energy on just helping those people and letting someone else, a brand designer, focus their energy on your brand. All your visuals, your communications, your website, all the campaigns, your social media posts, anything like that. Photography, all of those things, let them focus on that. Focus on what you're good at, because if you're focusing on areas that you're not very good at, you will fall into burnout much quicker than anticipated. So this is why I suggest that you save up some money to hire a brand designer that you can take on. It doesn't have to be for too long. It can actually be for a couple of months, just to get some things going, and then you can refrain and cut back a bit and then hire again to keep going, right? Or if you have very good faith in this person, in this brand designer, you can have them stick around for a while. But again, it's up to you. It's up to your goals and how you want to run the business. And if growing is your goal, which I'm sure it is. So this is why I'm encouraging you guys to not try and do everything all at once, because you're only one person and you only have so much energy in the day to focus on probably 3 things that will either help you grow or get you ahead of things or improve your system somehow. Have trust in this brand designer that you hire. They were educated in school or self-taught. They educated themselves to be fully indulged in branding knowledge, branding tactics, branding strategies. They have the best networking system. They have the best community, and they know how to solve the proper problems. So let them take on the tasks that you're struggling with, because they know exactly what needs to be done and they can help you much more, right? If you get somebody that's outside of your world, and they can see you from a third perspective view of your brand, you will get much more feedback and much more results that way. Because if you trying to look at your brand, step back, you might not see what others see. And having that third person is so important, because you will get to maybe stretch out into areas that maybe you never tried. And that's why you need to understand that as a business owner, you have to partition your jobs to other people as you start growing and putting more into the business, right? So hiring a brand designer is an investment. And I understand that not many of us could afford that, right? This is why you have to save up and work your way towards that goal. But it really depends on who you want to hire. Maybe you're more of hiring a marketer and you're going to just DIY your brand. Many do that. But again, it comes down to what you value, right? So for me, in my terms, because I'm a brand designer, I value branding, because if everything looks consistent, if everything has a very clean and seamless look, and it's communicating the same message and has a great story to it, it will engage people. It will bring joy to others. So that's why I believe in that. But maybe for you, you're more enticed on marketing. But like I said, it comes down to what you believe in, what you value. But the brand designer will know exactly how to solve any of your problems that are coming up. They're always active listening, which is great. It's a great trait brand designers have, and they're able to listen to you, know what you want, and how to get you there quicker than maybe you would have had. So that's just something to keep in mind. They just know what's coming up for you, and they prevent anything from happening to your brand. So if you're, taking a new direction, and the brand designer will know how to align you when you're pivoting, right? So that's something to keep in mind as well, because it can get chaotic when you start expanding to a different market or changing your messaging or anything like that. So having that one person there on your team just to give feedback to and support is perfect for any business owner. And because you hired this brand designer and you both went through the discovery session, they'll know you very well. They'll know the goals of the business and the brand, and they'll know how to build the blocks to get you there. And they'll know how to get that right direction that you're looking for. They'll know what's best for the brand and how to build it and how to keep everything consistent even when you're changing internally. And hiring a brand designer, you'll know right away that they have the tools to work efficiently and accurately, and you don't have to worry about, purchasing Adobe and, getting through all the tutorials and time to get to your next campaign, right? You have an individual that already is trained in Adobe or Affinity or Canva, whoever the designer is, they are specifically trained in those platforms. So give them a chance, because it will save you a lot of time. Now, we all know as business owners that we have to do our quarterly check-ins every time in the year. And usually the quarterly check-ins, I believe, are about 3 or 4 times a year. So what you would like to do is normally gather the team and do a realign or a check-in to ensure that all of our material is still in alignment, what needs fixing, what needs tweaking. And having this brand designer is golden, because the brand designer would know if something's out of line, or if the messaging is off, or if a wording could be improved, or if imagery could be improved much more. So having that third point perspective on your brand as a whole and not just yourself is very important, because having the extra eyes gives you more insight on what you could be doing better. So something to keep in mind for the future. I'm sure that many of you guys that are watching right now might only be in your first year, or maybe just starting out in the industry as a online professional. I'm not sure, but these are things to just keep in mind for the future. And it's okay, like I said, it's okay to DIY your brand in the first and second year, because you're just getting out there and you're trying to understand who your people are and what they are looking for. What type of services are they looking for, and what type of offers that you should be focusing on. So that's another thing. So there was no against not hiring a brand designer in terms of where you are in your life, in your business life. So yeah, I wouldn't expect a person that's only in their first year of running their business to hire a brand designer unless they're doing a partnership, but that's kind of rare. So I would say that you need to address everything one step at a time. You don't need to rush into things. That's a big no-no, because that might fall off the train for you here with what your purpose is and your mission was. So I want you to just keep that in mind, that starting out, focus on just you and you as a person, what your goals are and your mission is, plus your vision. Once you get that all together and you're a little bit more established, then I would start looking to hire people on so that you can focus on just doing what you're best at. And hiring a brand designer as well and having them on the team is also a great resource, because they have a great network of other people. So if you're looking to get workbooks binded, they have connections. If you're looking to get a whole load of pamphlets printed or business cards printed, they have connections. They know exactly where to go, and probably will be able to get really good deals for you, because they already built really good relationships with these printing companies, binding companies, you name it. They have a huge connection of people. And if you're trying to go to trade shows, they'll probably know people to get the proper trade show banners or booths, or big oversized banners and roll-up banners, TVs. You know what I mean. But they have a lot of resources behind them that can definitely benefit you. Even if you're looking for a programmer, they might have really good connections as well, because normally designers work with programmers on, say, apps or websites. So those are interesting relationships. So networking is super important, and having people like this is a really good idea. And plus, through my discoveries of working with art therapists, I can see that there's a difference between a designer and an art therapist in terms of what they see in art and design. So it's very interesting, but they both have a different view of how they see art. So the art therapist would see it more as intuitive design, where it really doesn't have a subject matter. It's just abstract expression, whereas a brand designer would be very accurate and be very diligent with what they choose, and they have to be objective because it connects with a brand that has a message, right? So they have a little bit more of a technical eye for design, whereas the art therapist would have something that's very expressive, which is great because we need that for establishing emotion, but they are very intuitive. So it would give a good balance of bringing a little bit of authenticity with technical accuracy. So this is why having a designer on the team is another great reason, because you guys have different taste in art, where your art is very colorful, it's very spontaneous and random and exciting, whereas designers such as me, we're very specific with what colors we choose and what type of psychology we're trying to communicate, right? So we look at the functionality of design, whereas the art therapist is loose but focuses on the feeling and what kind of shapes come up in the thought process. Now that's also good to utilize into the brand. So very interesting perspectives. Who knew, right? This is something that I actually learned when I started working with art therapists, and I thought it was super valuable. Now, I just want to bring this to your attention. So when you're building a team of people, whether it's a brand designer, a marketer, a salesperson, a web designer, all of those really important people, you want to make sure that you're being very diligent with who you choose so that you're able to give away creative control without being worried about it. So you have to look at the people that you're hiring. Ensure that they share the same values as you, the same beliefs, they speak the same language as you, because you have to make sure that when you're working with these people that everybody's on the same page. Nobody's thinking too far out. Nobody's, keeping everything internally. They all have to share the same values, same beliefs, the same language, the same vision as well, and mission, because all these people are going to be working under you. So they have to continually be systematic with what they're doing and be seamless in what they're sharing to the public, because one little slip, somebody's going to see it online. So you have to make sure that everybody that's on your team, when they're developing posts or they're posting and publishing media, or if they're talking to somebody on the phone, they all have to speak the same language. They all have to sound as if they're one person behind the brand. That's why we encourage that business owners hire people to build a team of people that are similar to you, because the brand has to look like it's been done by one person, or at least people who have like-minded thoughts as you. So just to keep that in mind, so that you don't have that mindset of, I don't want to give creative control to somebody that probably is going to mess up my brand really badly, or I don't want to give someone my sales position because they might screw things up and say something wrong in the messaging. So yeah, you can't think that way, obviously, but it's good to be diligent with who you choose. It's good to have expectations of who you're trying to look for, because then you'll know how to filter through people when you're hiring. All right, guys, so that is it for today's video. I know it was quite lengthy, but I wanted to make sure that I cleared things up for you guys and shift your mindset a bit about having a team versus just being by yourself. Again, there's preferences. You don't have to do this, but this is just something that I've learned through my experiences of working corporate, but also working on my own. So both are great. There are pros and cons, but it's up to you how you want to lay it out on the table for yourself. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. And I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or any thoughts that are coming up after this video. Maybe share your opinion. I don't mind. I would love to hear your feedback. And if there's anything that you want me to clear up, if something doesn't make sense. So again, thank you so much. Have a beautiful day and keep smiling. Bye.